Hey folks, welcome to CSC324 Advanced Programming. So we're going to continue exploring JavaScript today, and we're going to take a look right now at the core complex types that are available in JavaScript. Okay, so we're going to start out with the number type. So the number type has, so this is a complex type. So it's not just, x equals 5, but you're going to set x equal to, or n, let's say, our number equal to some value. And this time we're going to use the new mechanism to invoke the constructor on a number. So var n equals new, and then number. And we're going to pass in here the number minus 1.7 as into our constructor. Okay, so we can explore that a little bit. Let's say I'm going to use the alert mechanism. So what alert will do is put a little pop-up box in your browser that'll give you some text information. I could just easily do console log or document.write. So alert, I'm going to say n.to exponential. Okay, and in the process of doing that, what I'm going to have is something that prints out minus 1.7 e plus 0. Okay, so that prints the number 1.7 in exponential notation. Then let's say do this. Alert n dot, alert number, so we're talking about the number class, dot max value. And what we get is let's see, 1.79 with a bunch of other numbers, e to the plus 308. So we have a large max number that we can work with. Now, you might be thinking to yourself, that's cool, I know what the max number is, or the max value is. Let's try this. Alert n dot max value. So when you do this, your expectation would be, it would print out 1.79 blah 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 times, it would output 1.79 times e to the 308, or 10 to the 308. Unfortunately, what it prints out is undefined. And you might be saying, what? That's crazy. But we are dealing with JavaScript here. It turns out that the member max value is not part of the number prototype. It's part of the number class instance. So number is both a prototype, there's a prototype for number, but there's also an instance for prototype. That's the best way to say it. So you can say number.maxValue, but you can't say n.maxValue. If you say n.maxValue, it would mean that the number prototype had a member max value that was stored in the number prototype, but it doesn't. Very annoying. Okay, cool. So let's take a look at math. Math is has a set of members associated with it that will allow you to do all kinds of useful manipulations on numbers. So for example, I could say alert math dot floor n, assuming that n was our number minus 1.7. And what would you expect that to do? What would the number, given that n is minus 1.7, what would floor do? Well, you should expect that floor is going to give you minus 2. And round down when we use math.floor. All right, here's another one. Alert math dot square root of n. Now we're trying to take the square root of a negative number, so here we would expect to get some kind of error or something, and we do. JavaScript doesn't disappoint here. We're going to get not a number, NaN. That stands for not a number. Not a number. Okay. Now let's try a comparison. What happens if we do this? Alert math dot square root of n. And what we're going to do is we're going to compare that to not a number. So your expectation here, I'm assuming, if you're like me, your expectation is going to be, wow, well, math.square root of n returns not a number, and we're going to compare that to not a number. So it turns out that this, unfortunately, is not true, but it ends up evaluating to false. Yikes. Now you might be wondering, why does it evaluate to false? Honestly, I don't know. It's annoying. So there's a way to actually check to see if something is not a number. And you do that by saying alert is not a number, math dot square root of n. Okay. This is going to output true. I do have sort of an explanation for why this might not be true. Not a number is an object, and that object has, is a reference. So if we're trying to compare not a number, which is a reference, to math.square root n, which also might generate a not a number, maybe it's just comparing the object references and seeing they're not equal. But to me, that seems extremely silly. I don't see why I can't just figure out math.square root n. I don't see why math.square root n just can't figure out that they're equal by generating the same object reference for not a number. Okay. So the next thing I want to talk about is the string type. So you can say this, s equals dot hello world, and that is a primitive type. If you want to say, let's make it this severe. If you want to do something that's not a primitive type, you would do this. You would say var x equals new